Alright, so here's the example, and I'll draw a picture to go along with this example. So suppose we have this cylinder, it has radius r and height h. Its volume is given by this formula, and the volume changes because the radius and the height are changing as functions of time. So the height is changing, it's at 10, but it's going up and down 0.2 as a cosine, so it's like the height's changing like that. And in the same fashion, the radius is changing. It's starting at 6 and then it's sort of oscillating around 6. So you can think about what's happening to the cylinder. The cylinder is getting larger and smaller depending on if the amplitude is high or low. So it's sort of oscillating both in height and in width. And so what we're looking at is how the volume is changing at this instant, pi seconds. Okay, so our change in volume with respect to time is going to be our partial with respect to r times our change in r with respect to time plus our partial with respect to h times our change in h with respect to time. So we're going to put all these derivatives in. So the derivative of this function with respect to r is pi times 2rh. Derivative of r with respect to time is going to be 0.1 cosine t plus derivative of v with respect to h is going to be pi r squared times 1. And derivative of h with respect to t is going to be, this one's a little complicated, 0.2 times negative sine of t over 2 times 1/2 by the chain rule. So simplifying this, we're going to get 0.2 pi rh cosine of t plus 0.1 pi r squared sine of t over 2 with the negative 1, so we'll change this to negative. The 0.2 and the 1/2 become 0.1. And then we make an observation that at this instant, the height and the radius are 10 and 6. You can check the work over here. So then we're going to plug in those numbers for r and h, 6 and 10. And we're going to plug in pi for t. So this is the derivative evaluated at the point t equals pi. We get 60 times 0.2, which is 12 pi, and cosine of pi is negative 1. And then we get 36, which times 0.1 is 3.6 pi, and the sine of pi over 2 is 1. So this works out to be 15.6 pi, negative, don't forget the negative, and then the units are going to be inches cubed per second.